Evening, Gasheads. Welcome back to another episode of the Talking Gas podcast. Hope everyone's all good. Hope you've all had a good week. Of course, getting ready for our FA Cup third round tie against Norwich. Of course, there's plenty to talk about. We're going to go over the Charlton game, of course, because we didn't do an episode before Wycombe. So we're going to go over Charlton, go over Wycombe, talk about, obviously, the transfer window. Obviously, Connolly getting recalled. Bogard getting recalled from Villa, go over a few of our thoughts on that and sort of different positions where we need to improve. And then, of course, we're going to go over the Norwich game as well. So, if you're watching on the replay, don't forget to leave your comments, leave your prediction as well. And if you are watching live, get all your comments in. Any questions, do get them in. As always, do subscribe if you haven't already. I know there's quite a few people that are watching like the streams and videos but aren't subscribed, so do subscribe. We're on the road to 7k. And of course, if you haven't already watched the last few videos, happy new year as well. Of course, 2024, thanks again for, I know I've posted it and said it already, but thanks again for the quality support you've shown for the channel in 2023, and hopefully more of the same in 2024. And of course, don't forget to hit the like button as well. If we can get 50 likes, as always, on the live streams and videos, that would be class. And as always, do follow our socials if you haven't already. I'm going to start posting all them on Instagram and obviously on Twitter as well. Our socials are going down at the bottom of the screen. And also, if you haven't already, do join Fan Hub. The code is there as well if you want to join Fan Hub as well. But we're joined by Neil as always. Happy New Year, and how you doing?
Yeah, all right, mate. You?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, all good. All good. Yeah, just, buzzing for Saturday, even though I'm not going, which is annoying. But, plenty to talk about. Like I said, we got, loads of stuff to talk about. So, get in all your questions. We've already got Matt's in the chat, Rob Stavek as well, even into you, and Marvin James with the question we seen before we went live. Would you take Ali Koiki on a free? It's a no from me. What about you, Neil?
Nah, mate. Not even if you showed up for nothing. No.
We've already had him. But we'll quickly start off with the Charlton game. Obviously, get the more of the positive result out of the way. Of course, over the Christmas period, winning back-to-back home games, winning another 2-1 win like we usually do. I can't remember many wins that aren't 2-1, but what was your thoughts on that game, making it, I think, 9 home games unbeaten, making it a really good win. Of course, they equalized late on, and I was thinking, oh, here we go, players look knackered, we're gonna get a point, but then we managed to get another 94th minute winner thanks to Martin Brace. What was your thoughts on that game?
I was amazed to see the same 11 go out there. I thought they'd be dead on their feet then, boys. I thought it needed changing from what you'd seen previously, but fair dues, he's managed to get them out. They've all passed themselves fit. No one's reckless in their decisions to play anyone. You know what I mean? They've obviously passed fitness tests. They've obviously been cleared to play. So credit to them to get himself out there. Great to see Maka make the bench. I think that's going to be a big plus for us when he can get up to a stage where you can allow him to give him minutes. I think it'll be a big plus for us in this side when you can get him fit properly and get him in. Charlton, horrible. I thought they were garbage, really. I just thought they did what they sort of did what we used to do under Joey. We had good early pressure and did nothing with it, and then went on to get beat. And when you get early pressure, good sides punish you, and Charlton aren't a good side. And we said before the game they weren't a good side. They didn't show themselves to be a good side. That is another team, even worse than us, to be honest, that are devoid of any leaders whatsoever. They just look like a team that's completely lost. I thought we sort of controlled it as best we could. Did pretty well against a pretty abject side. Got our noses in front. The signs were there, tiny bit leggy towards the end. They've sniffed out an opening. Vale again, I think it's just a lesson learned. You know what I mean? He's the only way he's going to learn is through games and experience. Experience will tell him at that stage of the game, at that scoreline, you don't do what you've done. You play the percentages and deal with that in a different manner. Allowed him an opening, 1-1, and thankfully we've got a centre forward that is red hot when it comes to that sort of scenario and one touch finish, and he's managed to not even nick us a win. It's a win we deserve, but we got ourselves into a situation where we could have thrown away 2 points then. But as far as Charlton go, they're horrible. I think absolutely horrible. They've recruited terribly. They've got a lot of young kids out there that can't really stand up to playing week in, week out and produce a certain level. As good as Dobson is, he gets lost in that side because there's not enough around him to help him. I expect him to go probably in January if sides come knocking. I don't see why he'd want to stay. I thought Kramer played well, to be honest, as far as performances. I thought Kramer did well, which I haven't said that often about him this season, to be honest. He's always looked a bit as though he's had a clanger in him or he's made a bad decision, but I thought he looked like he's being coached by 2 centre-halves in, Taylor, and it's no secret that centre-halves are playing better now that, someone like Bondi's come in and worked with him again. But as far as that game goes, it was a game we should have won. We did win it. Looked a little bit iffy towards the end as far as energy, and I think it's just we'll go into Wycombe, but it's a following from that, I think.
Yeah. I agree. I pretty much said it as well. It's one of those games where, like you said, where they had that early chance, May at the crossbar. They then had another one, but then after that, they didn't really. They did look dangerous second half. Started the second half they started well, to be fair to them, in the second half. But yeah, we dealt with it pretty well. Like you said, it was frustrating. Vel, it was just one of those moments, where he'll learn from. He's still young, he's still, not played many games in his career. I think he's probably played about 30 games. That's not a lot at all. So, but yeah, then you said we had we kept going. Obviously, the free kick from Evans, for the winner was incredible to take it that quickly. Collins got 2 assists. And Martin, what a player. He just knows where the net is. Like you said, you give him a chance in and around the box. Obviously, we'll get on to Wycombe. But it was brilliant to see him obviously come off the bench and get a win. We got a comment as well. Big up to Ben as well, tuning in. Evening to you. Evening to Rob, Millwall fan. Cheers for tuning in. Ewan as well as Norwich the last time he played them, 2009-10. And Norwich, Southampton, Leeds, Charlton were all in League One. And of course, the one player that did score for them is now at us, Chris Martin, that game. I think we lost 5-1, but hopefully it's not like that this time. And Matt saying Barton should have bought Bond in after last season. Yeah, definitely. But we'll get on. There's a few comments about different players and transfers we'll get on to shortly. But getting on to the Wycombe game, we made 3 changes. Of course, Wilson, who is now rumoured to be out for at least a month, 2, if not 3, which is not very good. Of course, last season he played 43, 44 games in League One in a title-winning season. He comes to us and he's just getting injured, which is very frustrating. Literally sums up Rovers, to be honest with you. Same as Jack Hunt. I know Jack Hunt didn't play loads and loads of football last season for Wednesday, but he still played around like 25, 30 games. And then obviously you've got him out injured. But 3 changes. Woods came in. Of course, Josh Grant came in at centre-back as well. And Martin came in, obviously, with 2 goals off the bench in the previous game. What did you make of the starting lineup? And just your thoughts on a very frustrating game that I think was, it was sort of a game too far, if people could say that as well. But it was also frustrating for the type of goals we gave to Wycombe. And of course, it was back-to-back games against Wycombe this season where they've done the double over us, just like they did last season. And it's back-to-back away games where we've conceded 3 goals. What did you make of that game? And thoughts on the team and the way we played?
I thought I was never too harsh on it, to be honest. Come, the final whistle, it was always on the cards. It was always coming. The way that squad and the amount of work and effort that's gone into it and the performances it's put in, there was always going to be a leggy performance that come along sooner or later. And it just happened to be Wycombe. And to to be honest, I thought Wycombe, as a side, they old manned us, to be honest. They sort of old manned us. They sort of saw what we were about. They looked at us and they thought the best way, given that Wycombe have been horrible this season for how they played and the results they got, they just sort of old manned us to the point where they know they're not playing well, but they know that they know there's a way of getting under our skin and a way of getting at Rovers, and there was a way of we could be got at by that sort of team and that sort of personnel. I think Taylor sort of said it best in his post-match where he said, we all knew what was coming, we just couldn't stop it. And that is it down to a T. They would have been set up, they would have done all their prep, they knew what was coming, they just couldn't stop it. I've said it before about like Tafazoli, if that bloke was fully fit and his body wasn't breaking down, he would not be playing League One football. He's that good. He's that good of a centre half. And if you let that fella have two free headers, he will punish you. And he peeled off, he bullied, he ragdolled, and he managed to get 2 free headers. But that could be said it could have been Keogh, it could have been Lowe, it could be anything. I just think we've got old man. You know, you look at them, Grimmer, Vokes, McCleary, just savvy, Scowen, you know, savvy players. Don't have to run hard, chase around, go man for man, go like for like. Just old man, just savvy, knew what they were doing, knew how to pick our pockets, got under our skin, disrupt us. And that's just what went on. And when you're sort of playing it sort of 60, 70% and you're tired and irritable and you're sore, that's what'll happen.
Yeah. I mean, what was your thoughts on I mean, yeah, like you said, I was the same when I done my match reaction and I put a poster after. I wasn't going mad. It was just the thing that annoyed me was the goals we conceded, and because I knew as well, you know, even with only 3 changes, you know, there's not been many changes. You know, at the moment, you know, you only got to look at the bench we had against Wycombe. It was a lot of sort of defensive players. You had Gibbons on there, you had Hall on there. Obviously, Wardy needed a rest. Obviously, the only 2 attacking options was Giovanni Brown, who of course hasn't played a lot, and Marquis, who's been playing a lot of games recently. And that was just an annoying thing. I know it was going to be one of those games where it, you know, and it always is. Even if we were on it, Wycombe always do make it hard for you. They were taking us out. Vokes could have got a second yellow. You know, they were doing it all game. You've seen by the red card. What a shocking challenge on Finlay, like from Scowen, caught him in the face. But that was the real thing that annoyed me, because there was little spells. You know, we had that. I think it was in the first 2 minutes when Collins done that quality back heel to Vale. And then Vale probably should have shot or put it across the box, but then he put it back. And then you have the Collins chance that hit the post. But then, yeah, it was always, really frustrating. But it was just the goals. We just give away such poor goals. But and also, though, just before you go, I think the first goal, obviously, I'm not going in too mad because, you know, we've been playing really well and, you know, I like the team. But just a bit of communication, because you had Vale, who's 5'10", was never going to win against Tafazoli in the air. If it was Taylor, he'd have probably won it because they had the same size. But it was, and then the second goal and the third goal is just appalling to concede, and that's just my issues. Just the way, if we'd have even played like we did and not give away goals, we'd have probably won the game. But just the way we conceded the goals is obviously the frustrating bit.
That would have been a key area for Wycombe though this week. Like if you look at Cox, he doesn't command his box very well. He's still naive. Everything gets put on top of him. We've got Connor Taylor, who is our, you know, the man for first contact and anything aerial that he comes and wins through, which is great. But if you can get him isolated with either Vokes, Lowe, or Taff, you drag him somewhere. You've got 2 other threats that can come bombard him through the back of that and straight on top of your goalkeeper. And that's all that happened. What's happened is they've isolated Taylor. They've picked out that Taff's got to be getting picked up by Vale. That's a mismatch. Decent delivery. Go and attack that area. you play the percentages more often than not, you'll go and win it, and that's what's happened. They were just savvy. That's what I mean. That little bit of naivety that we've got as a side is still lingering.
Yeah, 100%. What was your thoughts on the players that came in? Obviously, Martin, we know that was another annoying thing when he finally got some service. He took him. He could have had a hat trick if it weren't for that save by Strojek in goal. But then Woods came in. Obviously, everyone was going mad about Woods. If I'm being honest, I didn't think he was that bad. Like for most parts, I just think, from the way Finley and Evans have played so many games, I thought you could see they were a bit off it, and I did think it affected us. I mean, as a team we were anyway, but I think when Finley's a bit off it and knackered and you didn't have anyone else to bring in, and same for Evans, I think they took him out quite early on as well, and he had a bit of a knock throughout the game, which is what Taylor's spoken about earlier on, when I was on the radio earlier on, about a few players, that could maybe not make it. But overall it was just frustrating. But what was your thoughts on Woods and Grant? Obviously Grant came in at centre back and Woods played again. I say played again. He come in for Ward. What did you make of them two?
I think Woods is one of them. I can see why he was recruited by Joey, because he plays exactly the way Joey wanted to play it. All ball, all possession, but what Woods does and what he's good at is he ticks over. He ticks over. That's all he does. He gets it, he gives it, he gets it back, he goes again, and he just keeps us moving. He keeps everything ticking over. But what he'll never do, he'll never influence a midfield. He'll never get a game by the scruff of the neck. He'll never go and drive a midfield on or get us up the pitch. I think Woods will be good in a possession-based side and in a good winning side where you can get him. He can just go through. He can go through the phases, get it, give it, shift it out wide, return it back out to a fullback, inside again, and back out the other side, and just keep things moving. That ain't Taylor's way. We've seen that. We're going to sacrifice possession for going a little bit more direct, a little bit more high energy. And I just think the way we want to play, when we're going to play well, it'll get bypassed, because that's not the way we're going to operate. I think that there's a team forwards. I don't think we're it anymore. Josh Grant, he's never been right since his op for me. There's a little bit missing from him. He's just never looked right. Like to when we saw him at his best in League Two, he looked like he could really go on another gear or two as far as getting better. Mm-hmm. What happened. He's had his op. He's been out for the year, and I said, you're gonna look and you're gonna be waiting until gone Christmas to see the best of him. And I don't think he's even anywhere close to the player he was. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how long it's going to take, or even if he'll ever get there, but he just looks like he's lost a bit of himself, to be honest. I don't know if that op's taken a bit away from him as a player and the layoff, etc. But he looks vulnerable to me.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, it's just, overall, it's just, Benson, still doesn't really look fit. Yeah, Yeah, it's true. And I mean, obviously, we pretty much talked about that. Obviously, it was we nearly drew that Giovanni Brown chance. I thought was in, because I didn't go to that game. I had a family meal. We usually do it once a year, and it happened to fall on the game. I've been Wycombe like 5 or 6 times anyway. But when he turned, because I thought he'd done really well when he come off the bench. He set up Martin for that chance, which the keeper saved it. Marquis had another chance, which was again another good save, but it was just, and the way, I mean, what's your thoughts on us going down to 10 men, and then 5 minutes later or 8 minutes later we're 2-0 down? Like, I just couldn't believe that. I mean, I could, but it was just, I couldn't be, honestly, 2-0 down. I was just there like, wow. Like, what did you think?
That's what I mean. That's two sides of the coin. That's a side that know how to operate in a certain situation. They roll their sleeves up. They know what they've got to do. And another side that have still got a little bit of naivety that crept into us. You know what I mean? We've looked when we played. I can't remember who it was when we played against 10 men. We looked good, and then you play against a side like Wycombe, who know what they have to do to get a job done against a side that they know that they can sort of be physically dominant against, rough them up, old man them, get under their skin, not necessarily play through them and be better than quality-wise, because they linger in 17th, 18th, 16th,
Yeah, I mean,
17th,
I think they had like
lingering. They've been horrible this season when
Yeah.
they've been in that transition. Now Ainsworth's gone, and they've reverted to playing like a back four rather than a three with the three monsters back there. And they've tried to transition to being something else. They've not adapted well. But you come up against a side like us, they'd have rolled their sleeves up, looked at us in the tunnel and gone, we're going to get right after these today and try and upset them. And like I said, when you're sort of playing at 60, 65%, a bit sore, a bit leggy, they get after you.
Yeah, completely agree. But yeah, like I said, it's just, frustrating way to give the goals. But like you said, you can't fault anything really over the Christmas period. The results we've got, winning at Bolton, the two home games as well, going right to the end. Yeah, and I just think it just took the stuffing out of us really, that game. But yeah, we've had a week to see what's plan ahead for Norwich. Obviously, it's going to be another tough game. Before we get into that though, of course, we had the recall of Conley. What do you make of that? Was you expecting that? Obviously, he's cup tied for the game this week, so he won't be playing. Although he did it, he's got a tight hamstring anyway, so hopefully that's not too bad. But yeah, what did you make of that? Did you see that? Did you see that come in?
Well, there was murmurs of it, weren't there? Like he sort of alluded to it, Taylor, in an interview, that it was a possibility. Don't mind it one bit. I've never had a problem with Beefy, to be honest. The form eluded him a little bit. Don't make him a bad player. Form eludes you. It happens to all of them. Do you know what I mean? So if he can go in there, roll his sleeves up, knows Taylor, who's played alongside, knows Bondy. You know what I mean? He's going to be working alongside another ex-centre half as a manager. They might be able to get something out of Beefy to raise his levels again and get him in there, and he might play really well for us. I'm not against it one bit. I'm not going to say he's going to hit the ground running and he'll be absolutely excellent for us, but I'm definitely not against it.
Yeah, definitely. Because the thing is with Conley as well, last season up to January when we were playing well and we were on the hovering under the playoffs, he was doing well in that in the back three we had, which was, who was it, Gibson, Thomas, and Conley. He was doing really well, and obviously second half of the season was just a complete write-off with, different signings coming in, a very young and experienced backline, which it still is now, pretty young and inexperienced. Obviously, you've had Taylor, which has played, most of the games, but you still got Kramer. This is his first season playing, fully men's football, same as Cox as well. So yeah, hopefully he can do well if he's gonna, come back and start games, whether, I think we will be after another centre back, because I think we have to, replace Wilson, because I don't think with that calf injury now, it's not looking good for him, and it's frustrating because you look at the times he hasn't played this season, Wilson, and I know it's not all about one player, but even though he can be a bit, he almost, for me, Wilson, he has been good this season, but for me, he almost plays as like almost a youngster himself. The fact that he just goes on mad runs, he does some mad things. But you look at the games he hasn't played in: Burton away, got battered; Blackpool away, conceded 3; Wycombe away, conceded 3. There's probably other games out there as well. I know it's not, but yeah, that's going to be, I think, a quite a big loss. And then, yeah, your thoughts on Bogard as well. Obviously, I put a post out on our Insta page as well about that. Obviously, he hasn't. His last minutes, his only minutes under Taylor was in Taylor's first game, and after he come off the bench in the Crawley game. And obviously the last league minutes was Mangan's last game when he come off the bench. He hasn't, I think, 4 or 5 of the last 8 or 9 match day squads, he hasn't been involved. Obviously another Barton signing. That's the thing. Taylor still, obviously now is it his time to bring in players, but obviously that was another Barton signing. What do you make of that, and how do you sum up Bogard and his time, and obviously his recall? And apparently they're going to try and send him out to a championship club. What do you make of that?
there's a couple of ways of weighing it up. Villa might have let the club know early doors that, just to let you know, we've had interest from a Champions side and we're looking in to get him, moved on in January. So Taylor might have said, well, there's no point having him as part of my plans then. And then it's been that. Or he's just thought, I'm not having him. He's not for me. Nothing against him to say he's not a good player. He's just might not be for Taylor, because I expect Bogard to go on and have a pretty good career, to be honest. There's enough in there to say that he can go in, influence games and be a player and make a good career for himself. He just might not be Taylor's cup of tea. That happens. You know what I mean? There's a lot of professional people out there with a lot of their own opinions, and they'll decide that what is right for them and what isn't. And maybe one side of the coin could be that Villa have said that early doors, we're going to have him back anyway. So, you know what I mean? If you want him in your plans, do so. But ultimately, you're not going to be having him past January. And he thought, well, there's no point trying to fit him into a side where he's not going to be here long term. Or he's just ultimately thought, you know what? He's not for me. He's not part of the side that I really want, which is fair enough. You know what I mean? You've got to build a side around what you think is best as far as what you can get out of 90 minutes in a group of people. And maybe Bogard just went for him, but I think he will go and have a good career.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think he's got all the attributes for, to be a, good player as well. So yeah, like I said earlier, all the best to him as well. And yeah, Ben Dowell just, alliterating on what I said as well. All these players are Barton signings, and he hasn't yet so far. Obviously there was, getting on to, I know we've brought it up on pretty much every, episode for like the last month or so, but now is the time. The window is open 4 days into it. Obviously there's Trevor Clark, who is pretty much the forgotten man at Rovers. He's meant to be leaving. Woods is, I think, another one that could possibly go as well. But for you, I know we've talked about it in the past, but now we've got to this day, where for you do you think we need strengthening at this current predicament? And it looks like, we're going to continue with the three at the back, wing backs, if you will. What for you? And also, Gas says, let us know in the comments. And if you're watching back, let us know in the comments after as well. Where do you think we need to strengthen this window?
Much like before, an out-and-out A1 top-ranked League One centre forward that is required, that can play with his back to goal, bully centre halves, run in behind, get the best part of 20 goals a season. Now they're like gold dust, but that's what we want and that's what we need. We've fallen on our feet really with Martin. He was never expected. I don't think he was ever expected to get the output that we've got out of him. He's done fantastic for us, but he was an afterthought at the end of the day, and he's done brilliant for us. And we've relied far too heavily on him, quite frankly. God, I dread to think where we'd be if we didn't have him.
Like, eight goals in 16 games, mind. It's mad.
So there's that. I've said before, like, the squad's stacked, but it's stacked with volume. There's a load of volume there, but once you start losing 1, 2, 3 really influential players, the drop-off's a bit too significant, So just a little bit too significant. It's too noticeable, where the top sides, they can manage through that and they can muddle through and pick up those good points where they don't miss them as heavily. We're going to need a centre half. We're going to need a centre half, if not a couple now, because of the way it's panned out. I think we're going to need volume in the middle now. If you look at how we're looking to play and the way you can only get a certain type of performance out of Woods in a certain type of game, if it plays out a certain way. Bogard's gone, so that's volume out the window. Macca's not 100%. You've got to be really delicate with Macca now. We've brought. It looks like it might not been related, but he's picked up 2 long-termers pretty quickly. So you've got to be really delicate with him. So you can't just throw him in and go, well, he's back fit, and try and have him play big minutes week after week. So I think the middle of the park and everything down the spine of the pitch, I think really we could do with strengthening. But January's a sticky window to try and do any sort of decent business. You're looking at loans and kids.
Yeah, and that's the thing now. I mean, Yeah, I mean, I've heard a few things that doesn't sound good, in the fact of apparently it's mainly going to be loans, even though we've had all the stuff in without with missing, obviously JCH. He looks like he's going to Charlton, which is mental. And also another player that I like, you tweeted about yesterday, that Gillespie,
He's a
who
gun. He
again
is a gun, mate.
again though, that's I think it's meant to be around 200,000. So what I've heard, and he's pretty reliable, is that we don't have money to go out and buy players. Hopefully that's wrong. Most of the info I've got from this person has been pretty much spot on. So that doesn't look good if you especially for you, if you're saying an A1 centre forward. I think it's mainly you're going to have to be really, really intricate and careful about what players you bring in. Obviously, earlier on there was that Darren Holcoop saying about Greg Doherty. I don't know if you've seen that. Apparently, but it's only rumours. Obviously, at the moment, apparently we're one of few clubs interested in him. He's done very well at this level before. I think he won the league at Hull, been at Shrewsbury, and nearly when they nearly got promoted like 4 years ago. But for me, Ben saying goalkeeper, centre back, centre mid, and a striker. That's what's your thought? Obviously, we've gone over that before. For me, I even though Cox isn't commanding and his kicking's been a bit off, I still think he's more than good enough for me personally. I'm sure you're still the same, aren't you, on that opinion? Although I've seen, obviously, as we know, Rovers fans, a lot of people don't rate him at all. Are you still on the thing that we don't need to sort a new goalkeeper out?
No, I don't think we're in a position where we have to or should, to be honest. I think you've got to be really calculated and understand Rovers' position, where we are, what we're about, and what the window is. I can quite easily see this. I can quite easily see January being a window of get volume in, much like last season. We get volume in, we muddle through, we stay in the league, we build again in the summer, because we are a million miles off of being a playoff side. A million miles off. And you're never going to get all that work and all that business done in January without absolutely doing your nuts on money to probably not even get there. I just think you've got to be shrewd with it and go, do you know what? Let's just muddle through, give Taylor time, look at what he's got, assess it right through to the summer. We look at it again in the summer to do a better recruitment, get a few more out the door, a few more in, and look to just piece together what we consider to be a better squad, because we are not a top six side, and we ain't going to be a top six side this season. So there's no point doing your bollocks on money.
Yeah. What? So that you think it's done?
Yeah. Look, what are we sat now? We are sat. What are we sat in the league? 11th,
10th with 9 points off the playoffs.
9 points off. A load of traffic in front of us. We haven't been able to back up wins all season. We've got a squad which falls at the first hurdle when we can't get our best 11 out there, which you can't do every week. We're going Saturday, Tuesday. It will happen. So there's going to be a drop off in performance when you can't get everyone out there. We've shown up to now. We can't back up wins. We're not a bad side, but we're not a good enough side either. But ultimately, this ain't Taylor's side, so we shouldn't put all our eggs in one basket to go, do you know what? Let's do our nuts on money in January and give it one big shot to get to top six. We won't get there. It won't happen. I just think you've got to be shrewd and go, do you know what? We are what we are. We'll muddle through. We'll bring in a bit of volume to get us through to the season. He can have a bit more time to look at what he's got, assess what he wants to release, look at the market for what he wants to bring in, and do your business and do all your work in the summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. I think it all depends. Hopefully our window ain't as bad as last January, because that was that was very frustrating. I mean, it all depends. If you're Taylor, you're thinking, with the right additions, I think it can still happen. But it all depends on additions. It all depends on additions, because I think if you look at our squad, I think it needs, if you get the right players, and I know obviously you say, yeah, get the right players in, but I think we can still push for the playoffs. I think it all depends on the window. If you're Taylor now, you're looking at him and you're thinking, but that's the thing. Barton's already been back massively, but then they're really, if you're Taylor now, you want to be backed. Especially he's done well since he's come in. He got us playing good football. He's got us a style. We're looking more creative. I think it's just a few additions here and there, but like you said, it is a very difficult window to do business, and that's the only thing. I think it all depends. If we could get a Greg Doherty on loan and an experienced centre back, like from a high level, that isn't maybe playing as much, and if I don't think we'll be that far away personally.
I mean, look at that there. Goalkeeper, centre back, centre midfielder, striker is being said of what we need. That is a spine of a side. No side in the top 6 or pushing for a playoff spot is saying we need that. That's what we need, because they've got it sorted already. So whatever you bring in the window, and I'll be amazed if you bring in 4 legitimate, mid-20s, played loads of games players in January. You ain't going to be looking at getting that. And I can't see Taylor saying, do you know what, do a load of me budget in January. I bet he'd be saying to the board, well, sit tight, keep it all in the coffers for me for the summer. Give me a load of time to plot, plan, observe, because I don't want to eat into my budget now on a wing and a prayer of making top 6, because top 6 sides win week in, week out. We've not done that all season, and we ain't going to just do that immediately through bringing players through the door without giving them a pre-season, showing them patterns, getting them gelled with other players. Take too long, and before you know it, we're 10, 12 games before the end of the season, and we're only just starting to get into a groove. Well, you're too far off it by then, and you've done a load of money and got nowhere still. I wouldn't bother. I just wouldn't bother.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Even into Gordo as well. Matt saying, what's the best thing to do with Gordon? Well, if we're going to continue playing this system, then it's his attacking, because defensively, I think he's all right defensively, but it's just going forward. But we'll see what happens when he comes back. Obviously, he's been out injured for quite a while now as well, after the hamstring injury, obviously in the Bolton away end a few weeks ago. Ross there, I don't think we'll see him in a Rovers shirt again, personally. Out of contract, and it's a massive shame. He's out of contract in the summer. He's been on, what is it? Was it last October he's been out? It's so long, nearly a year and a half.
Ages,
it's so frustrating though. But we did know this when Barton signed him. We knew that he had major injury issues. We spent money on him as well. And it's just, very frustrating, because he's one hell of a player. But a lot of players are like that, though. They have injuries and it ruins them. And I don't think we'll see him, to be honest with you. I don't think he's back on the grass. I know Friend's back on the grass, which is good. But again, look at him. He's played really well for 2 games and he's injured again. So, just it is what it is. Even to Robert as well. Rob Guest, hope the boys that went to see the darts didn't burn the candles. There were a load of them, weren't there, on the piss and that, dressed up and stuff. But fair play though. They, go and have a laugh on your day off at the darts. Why not? Ben saying top 10 at the moment is best at the moment. We'll need a goalkeeper regardless in the summer. And Ben also saying, to an extent, I agree with Neil. Can see this window being loans and underwhelming. Lots of work to be done in the summer. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I would go in for left wing back. I mean, there was talks of that Palace kiddie, but again, it's a young player who looks really, really good, but he went to Coventry on loan last season, and then didn't hardly play. I think he played in a few like EFL Cup games, but he's been won this league. And then, yeah, left wing back for me, a centre midfielder, a centre back, and a striker. For me, a striker, I don't think it'd be an A1 centre forward like you said. I think it'd be a loan, like a Mellon who's been at Morecambe, got 15 goals this season, or a Joe Taylor, who's been at Colchester, but saying that Bolton and Oxford are after him. I doubt he'll come to us if them two clubs are after him. So, and yeah, nothing on Hunt. He's still injured as well, yeah, which is very frustrating. But yeah, that's pretty much our thoughts. Do keep hitting the like button as well. Nearly 40 people currently in. Hit the like button if we get close to 50 likes. As always, keep getting in your comments. But yeah, we just have to see what happens with the window, you know. Yeah, for me, like I've already said at the start of it when we started talking about the transfer stuff, I can't see it from what I've heard, and I hope it's not true, but yeah, I can't see it being getting some A1 centre forward like you want for me personally.
I don't think. Well, to be honest, I only want it if it's available and it can be done. And you know,
yeah,
look,
of course.
I don't think we're ever going to do big business, or we're not going to do a lot of business in January. To be honest, it's only going to be big clubs trying to get their kids out to get a bit of experience on the cheap, and players that are unhappy and desperate to get away. To be honest, in a perfect world, the three that I'd like to get Jono in. I don't care. Like I just think goal scorers are a commodity, and you take them. And if you've got a goalkeeper, a goal scorer there that wants to come and join your club, that you know does get 15, 20 goals, you take him. If Macaulay Gillespie is available to be got, I think you go and get him because he is a gun at League One level. And I'd go and take a punt on Josh Stokes from Aldershot as well, because I think he can go on a level or two. I think I'd take a punt on. But again, you're never going to do that business in January. They're just free that I'm throwing out there as good players that I'd like to get through the door in a window where you could get him. But again, that's a load of cash getting doshed out, and I just don't think now's the time to do it.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Of course, you know, stay subscribed with notifications on whenever will be anything done. Whenever I just seen that comment then from Matt. Whenever there is anything done, then yeah, there will be videos and will be lives. Plenty of obviously now we're getting into back to normal period where it's pretty much Saturday, but if there is obviously Tuesday games, as you all know, we go live on a Sunday and obviously live every Thursday at 8 p.m. So yeah, keep up the quality support. But getting into Norwich, I think we've pretty much chatted about more than enough about transfers. You know, just see what happens. Obviously there's going to be loads of rumours. But yeah, we'll see what happens if a Greg Doherty comes along and a Gillespie comes along and other striker, then we'll just have to wait and see. But getting on to Norwich, unfortunately, we couldn't get any Norwich fans or podcasts on. What I will say is the two kiddies from the Talk Norwich City podcast, go and subscribe to them on YouTube. I think they're on the road to 30,000. They were going to come on earlier, but obviously we go at 8 o'clock. They were only free until 5. But do go and check out their channel. Quality content. Their recent video, they done a really good piece on talking about Rovers, etc. So go and subscribe to them. But yeah, what's your thoughts coming into this game? Obviously, before we went live, we talked about their season so far in the Championship. Very mid-table side, although going down to 18th, there's like 7-8 points off the playoffs. They're currently 5 points off the playoffs. Won 10, drew 5, lost 11, scored 42, conceded 42, 35 points. The last 5 games sort of sums up their season. Millwall, who've been on poor form, they lost to West Brom. They lost to. They beat Huddersfield. Drew in the derby against Ipswich. I don't think they've lost for 14 years against Ipswich, so that record continues. And then their last game, they drew at home to Southampton, and they've already sold, I think, 16,000 home tickets as well. And obviously, Rovers have sold quite a lot. But yeah, your thoughts coming into this game against Norwich. Yeah, what are you expecting? What's your thoughts going into it? Do you want to go through? Don't you mind getting, knocked out and focus on the league? Yeah, what's your thoughts coming into the game?
I think it's a free hit, to be honest. I think it's a welcome distraction. Like I said, they've had their day off. They've had their rest, recovery. You go in there as the underdog. It's a bit of novelty. It's a ground you don't go to often. Players will look forward to it. And like I said, it's a free hit. Just go and enjoy yourself with a plan in place to try and go and get a result. But I don't think we go out there and just chuck anyone out there to give them. I just think we do try and we go and try and win the game. We try and get through. Like I said, we're not sat like second, third, fourth, where we think, you know what, we'll go there, we'll try and win it, but we'll go out there and we'll rest a few, and we'll the league will be the priority. I think we go there and have a right good go at Norwich to see what we can do, because if we get through, it's just a positive, isn't it? If we can get through, and this one's not out of the question. It's doable. This one's not out of the question. This is doable with a bit of the rubber to green. So yeah, I wouldn't chuck it in, not at all. If we were anywhere in the league and I thought we had any chance of really being in a position to do anything, maybe my thoughts would be a bit different. But I just think, yeah, we go all in on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. I said earlier on having a gas that, yeah, go in. Obviously, we're the underdogs. All the pressure's on them, and and from listening to the lads at Talk Norwich City as well, and a lot of Norwich fans, to be honest, they're pretty frustrated with David Wagner, of course, the ex-Schalke, the German manager that was at Huddersfield in the Premier League is now their manager. And a lot of their fans are very, very frustrated of how, yeah, you talked about last week or a few weeks ago, before we went live, you said a few weeks ago that, 4-5-1 at home, a lot of their fans are coming to, the end with him. And the lads at Talk Norwich City don't even want him to see the transfer window. They don't trust him. They have had a few injuries, but like many other clubs, that's not really an excuse. Even with players and a style and a system, it all seems to be very inconsistent at Norwich, as you've seen by the league table and their last few results where they can go and play well against a good side. It almost reminds me a little bit like us, really, where a team they're meant to beat, they lose to, and a team that they're not really favourites to. But, you would be expecting more of them, especially with parachute payments still happening. But yeah, like you said, all the pressure's on them. I think if we go there and win, Norwich fans are going to be absolutely fuming, especially where they are, their season. Even though they are 5 points off the playoffs, a lot of them, their fans don't even see anything happening if they just think it's going to be a mid-table. So yeah, I think it's a good opportunity, really. We'll get to lineups and predictions in a second, but yeah, for me, I've go there as long as we don't get. That's the only thing, obviously, you want as a fan, as a manager, and as a player playing. You just don't want to get injured. We've had a few injuries now at the moment. We've got 6 out. Don't really want any more. And yeah, hopefully we can go there. I should imagine if we draw, it's a replay, innit? They at this stage they don't. Yeah, it's a replay. So even then, I don't want to replay either. Like just if we get a replay, at home we could beat them, but I just either lose, but go out fighting, or get a win and go into the next round, and hopefully we actually get a proper good quality tie really in the next round, because we haven't had that one for a while. But yeah, we're going to get on to score predictions now and lineups. Get your starting 11s in the comments below. Of course, don't forget Connolly. Like we said earlier on, Connolly is cup tied, and there is a few players. Taylor hasn't said it, of course, but he said you'll see by the starting lineup a few players that played against Wycombe will not be available or maybe rested because of slight knocks and niggles and stuff. So yeah, let us, if you're watching on the replay, let us know your predictions in the comments and let us know your starting 11s. And if you're watching now, get your score predictions and your starting 11s. What team would you play? Yeah, Neil, what starting 11 would you go for to play against Norwich?
Yeah, given on like I said, the output that these lads have put in, you don't know how far some of them are off as far as tiredness, on the brink of injury, what their muscles are like. But physio and medical team will be giving all that information and passing that over as well to see where they are. But I think Cox, Taylor, Kramer, and maybe Luca or Gibbo might fill in there. I think maybe on Saturday. I think 4 across the middle of Vale one side, Thomas the other. I'd like to think Ward could get back in there with Finley. Evans and Collins behind John Marquis. But if he's fit to play, I wouldn't have a problem with seeing Macca start. To be honest, if you can get 45 minutes out of him, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But I think it's going to be another one where he'll play what's available to him, because that's where we're at the minute with the squad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I'm big up to Niall as well. Tuning in, big up, lads. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. Appreciate the support as always, Niall. Keep hitting the like button as well. And yeah, we'll get into obviously predictions in a bit. Yeah, for me, from what Taylor said, he could, it almost sounds like he might do a lineup change, as in a formation change. Because especially with Conley out, I think we might see a 4 at the back. So I'm going to agree with Matt actually and go with a 4-4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. Cox in goal. The only problem is, who do you play at left back? That's the only problem, because we don't actually have a proper fit left back available. I don't know. I'll go Gibbons at left back. He has played there before. Gibbons at left back, Hall at right back 2 of Kramer, Taylor, midfield 2 of Grant, Ward and Finley. Obviously, it'd be nice. I'd probably bring on Mac. I wouldn't start him, but I'd bring him on, give him hopefully a half an hour. So Finley, Ward. In the 10, I would play Giovanni Brown. On the left, I would play Harvey Vell. On the right, I would play Thomas. And up front, I would go. I mean, Martin's been really good, but I think against Norwich, you'd want someone that can press. So I agree with you. I'd start Marquis. So that'd be mine. I just think Evans has looked absolutely, especially the last 2. He's looked knackered. He took a knock. So, and Collins as well. I don't know if he just brought him off because he didn't think he was playing that well, or again because of he's played a lot then. But yeah, I'd give Giovanni a chance. If Gibbons and Hall back on the bench, put them, and by the sounds of it, you could maybe even Sinclair. Taylor was talking about Sinclair maybe even starting, so maybe even Sinclair on the left for Vell. But yeah, that'd probably be mine. Matt's has gone Cox, Hall, Kramer, Taylor, Grant, Evans, Ward, Finley, Thomas, Marcus, Vell, and Cure Galore saying that you like the lineup. Will BRC Vlog, shout out to you. Make sure you go and subscribe to Will's channel if you haven't already. Always does vlogs on the Rovers games. A young and upcoming content creator. Wouldn't mind seeing a couple of changes, such as Macca Brown, maybe a Sinclair, but hopefully still reasonably strong. Yeah, I think it'll still be reasonably strong, but yeah, I think give a few players games and just see what happens. So yeah, that'd be our lineups as well. But yeah, getting on to score predictions. Ben's already gone in there 0-0 to make the 5-hour drive worth it. What's your score prediction, Neil? What are you going to go for? And let us know your score predictions in the comments. 42 in. Let's see 42 score predictions in the live chat right now. But yeah, what's your score prediction, Neil?
Yeah, I don't think this is out of the question to go there and get a result. It wouldn't. I mean, is cup upsets go? I don't think anyone would look at this and go, "That is absolutely phenomenal." Our Rovers have won that game. I just think it would be an upset. We'd obviously be underdogs, but I don't think anyone would look at it and make back page headlines. It is achievable. It can be done. But I think Norwich are very much like what we are in League One. I just think they're a bit other teams from the outside looking in, look at Norwich like they would do at Rovers and go, they're just a bit meh. You know what I mean? No one's really petrified of us. No one's really that concerned by us. No one thinks we're going down. No one thinks Norwich are going down, but no one thinks Norwich are going to go and make a real dent in them playoffs either. I think we're pretty similar, but ultimately they're a championship side. So as much as I think we could go and get a result there and we could win that cup tie, the realist in me thinks we might get nudged out sort of 2-1.
Goal scorers. And just before though, and like you said, it all depends as well on how Norwich are feeling about the FA Cup. Whether they go and make 10, 11 changes, I think we'd have a real chance.
Yeah, there's that.
If they've done that. And like you said, it all depends on how serious they're taking it. You'd think pretty serious because, again, you know, looking at Norwich fans, they're pretty frustrated and they don't think they're going to do anything, you know, promotion-wise or getting in the playoffs, even though they're 5 points off them. So, but yeah, what goal scorers for both teams?
Oh, I'd say probably Hanley and maybe Sargent for them. Connor Taylor from a set piece, maybe.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, for me, it's tricky. Like you said, it all depends. All depends. Well, I'll go with a 2-1 win. Why not? I think we're gonna. Yeah, I think 2-1 win, and I think if they make loads of changes, I think we've got a real chance. Even if, you know, if they make a few changes, we could still have a chance. Of course, you know, they've been a few scalps under, you know, lower league teams in the past. I mean, much lower league teams. I remember must have been 2011-12 or 2012-13 when they lost to Luton. I think Luton went there with Scott Rendell scoring and knocking them out. So yeah, it all depends. But I'll go with a 2-1 win to Rovers. I'll go the player that scored against Rovers the last time we played Norwich, who is now at Rovers, and he scored one of the 5 goals, Chris Martin. I think he'll get another goal. I think he's on brilliant form. And I think Giovanni Brown will get his, I think, second Rovers goal. And for them, I'll go Johnny Rowe. He's one of, I talked about Neil before he went live. He's one to watch. He's one of the, you know, upcoming, I think, behind Bellingham. He's got the most goal contributions out of any teenager in world football this season, Johnny Rowe. So watch out for him. He's going to be one to watch if he plays, that is. So yeah, I'll go Johnny Rowe to score for them. Yeah, Ben Dowell saying beat Norwich just to get Stevenage at home. No, it would be. It would be some tie like that. It would be. BRC SM saying if we get a replay, at least we know it's worth winning after the draw. Yes, definitely. Will BRC Vlogs saying 1-1, take a replay back to the mem and get through. Because he is both going for it. There are replays. Yeah, replays. Yeah, replays are there. Yeah, Ben saying they reckon they'll make loads of changes. Matt saying I'd like to see Taylor and Crammer pocket a World Cup striker and Josh Sargent. Yeah, I mean he's only just come back from injury, but he did score against Southampton on their 1-1 draw their last game. What's that? Brian saying with no Wilson 3-1 Norwich. BRCSM 3-1 Norwich. Matt 2-2, but he also says 3-2 Norwich as well. But yeah, I think that's pretty much. Gordo's gone with a 1-1 as well. So yeah, I think let's see what happens, right? Neil's going. I won't be going, unfortunately. I can't get a lift. So I can get a ticket sorted, but I can't get a lift. So unfortunately, I can't go. But yeah, Neil will be there on with Leanne and that, making all the noise on the supporters coach.
I'll be getting my head down, mate.
Yeah, it's a long trip, isn't it? Yeah, long trip. But yeah, I won't be going. I'll hopefully be at Barnsley next week. But yeah, I'll be watching at home. There will still be a reaction to the game, like there was against Wycombe. But yeah, I'll be watching a game. Hopefully, some limbs in the front room after we get another 94th minute winner. But yeah, we're going to end it now. Thank you to everyone that is tuned in on the live. Before you go, don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. If we can get 50 likes, that'd be class. Keep up the class support as always. Do subscribe if you're new. We will be back on Thursday for the Barnsley preview. And of course, we would have signed a player we'll have to see. And of course, we'll be going over the Norwich game on Thursday as well. We should have someone from the Barnsley channel read all over as well. So join us at 8 p.m. next Thursday. Don't forget to check out the reaction that will be out after the game Saturday. And yeah, keep up the quality support. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Hopefully you can get a win, but we'll have to see. Thanks to Neil as always. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in. Leave your comments, leave your predictions after the show if you're watching it back on the replay. And yeah, see you in the next one, and see you on Saturday for the match reaction. Up the gas.